The sneakers you wear every day. Have you ever wondered how they are made? Behind the stylish look and comfortable feel lies a sophisticated manufacturing journey, where modern technology combines with meticulous craftsmanship to create iconic products. Discover the process of making a pair of Nike shoes, where every little detail carries creativity, rigor, and constant innovation. High jump, speedy sprint, or stylish running. But few people know that behind that halo is a meticulous and precise production process down to the millimeter. Let's step out of the advertising frame, deep inside the factory, where Nike shoes are truly molded from passion, technology, and constant innovation. Every shoe starts with a sketch. Designers create initial sketches that combine fashion, functionality, and inspiration. Materials are carefully selected: high-quality textiles, synthetic leather, lightweight, durable rubber. Each type has its own role in the durability, comfort, and grip of the shoe. From the first sketches, designers conduct tests on a series of different foot molds to check the fit, stretch, and feel when wearing. Every small detail, such as curves, heel lift, or fabric, is refined many times to achieve the optimal fit, bringing a tailored feeling to every movement. This is a meticulous research step, opening the journey to global class production. Instead of using conventional fabric, Nike designers chose to weave the shoe body from thousands of super light threads, creating a flexible, colorful fabric that can breathe with the foot. But creative ideas alone are not enough. Every curve, heel lift, and even the small space between layers of fabric are fine-tuned over and over again to ensure the shoe fits snugly without creating pressure, yet is still sturdy enough for every movement. Once the shoe body is complete, the sole attachment process begins. This is the key step that determines the durability and elasticity of the product. The midsole and outsole are molded from specialized rubber and foam, then pressed tightly onto the shoe body using a high-pressure press, ensuring each layer adheres firmly while remaining flexible with every movement of the foot. Once the sole is firmly attached, the shoe moves on to the finishing stage, where every little detail is meticulously cared for. Workers wipe off excess glue, smooth the seams, and then polish the surface to give the shoe a neat, sharp look. With a spirit of constant innovation and a commitment to environmental protection, Nike makes the most of leftover materials in the production process. Scraps of fabric, excess rubber, or defective soles are crushed and recycled, creating colorful shoe soles with unique personalities. It seems like a place to just dump discarded scraps. But these small corners full of scraps have become a new step in the journey of shoe creation. Here, excess materials are revived, crushed, recycled, and transformed into unique shoe soles, both sustainable and bearing a strong personal mark. No longer simply recycled materials, they become creative design highlights, both environmentally friendly and bringing a new look to every step. After going through the final inspection and finishing stages, qualified shoes will be tagged with identification tags, including product code, size, and brand logo. Each pair is then carefully placed in a box with lining paper to keep the shape and protect the surface. Let's take a look at the results of the painstaking steps to create these amazing shoes. Exquisite pearl necklaces have captivated connoisseurs for decades. But how are they made? Beyond a mere ocean gift, each pearl embarks on a years-long journey from careful implantation to layers of shimmering nacre. A blend of nature and craftsmanship, this process holds a fascinating secret. Let's explore. Of 800-plus oyster species, only a few produce quality pearls. In nature, just 1 in 10,000 forms a beautiful pearl, making natural pearls far more valuable than cultured ones. Pearls come in many colors such as white, black, yellow, blue, pink, and purple. The color depends on the oyster species, minerals in the water, and the living environment. Typically, Akoya, South Sea, Tahiti pearls. Freshwater mussels can live from 20 to 100 years, while saltwater mussels live from 10 to 30 years. Some wild European mussels have been recorded to live over 250 years. When a foreign object attacks the pearl, it will not repel it, but instead, the pearl will secrete layers of nacre to cover the foreign object, turning it into a pearl over time. This is how beautiful pearls are formed. Ego Bay, Mai Prefecture, has been the cradle of Japanese pearl cultivation since the 20th century, thanks to its clean water and stable salinity. They pour microalgae into the farming area, which is a natural food source that helps the oysters grow healthily and increases their ability to create pearls. Pearl culture involves stacking 2 pearls, securing them with a net. When the oysters reach a large enough size, they are released into the sea to grow naturally. The marine environment helps the nacre layer to become thicker and shinier, creating high-quality pearls. Throughout the farming process, which lasts from 12 months to 2 years, The farmers must regularly check the oysters, usually every 2 to 3 months, to remove parasites such as barnacles or seaweed, while also cleaning the farming trays to maintain the best living conditions. The pearl harvesting process begins when the oysters are 2 to 4 years old. People clamp them firmly. Gently open the oyster shell, then use specialized tools to separate the tissue and carefully remove the pearls to avoid damage. If the oyster is still healthy, it can continue to be implanted with new nuclei to grow pearls next time. The first step in pearl extraction is to carefully separate the pearl tissue using a specialized tool. The pearls are then cleaned, polished, and graded according to size, color, and luster before being used as jewelry. The most perfect pearls are crafted into expensive necklaces that are both luxurious and sophisticated. As for the pearl meat, it will be for the nimble hands to skillfully cut the meat from the clamshell. Separate the meat for processing and keep the shell for other purposes. From careful cultivation to strict selection, each pearl embodies nature's beauty. Only the finest become high-end jewelry, symbolizing elegance and luxury. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. From the sweet sugar cane in the field, how do people make pure white sugar? The process of producing sugar from sugarcane is an interesting journey, combining modern technology and meticulousness in each stage. From the time the sugarcane is harvested and goes through each stage, it plays an important role in creating the final product, the familiar sweet sugar grains in every kitchen. Let's explore this elaborate journey to better understand one of the most common ingredients in everyday life. When the sugarcane fields turn golden yellow under the late-season sunlight, it signals that the harvest season has arrived. In the thin mist still lingering on the leaves, the farmer began his work with nimble hands, cutting each heavy clump of sugarcane. Morning is the ideal time to harvest, when the weather is still cool and the sugarcane retains its freshness after a long night of accumulating nutrients, helping workers easily distinguish old sugarcane to harvest at the right time. Meanwhile, harvesting at night is rarely done because of the low light, which can be dangerous and affect the quality of the sugarcane. Therefore, the morning is always the golden time, opening a busy and hopeful working day. After being harvested by modern machines, the sugarcane stalks are neatly cut, bundled, and automatically transferred to specialized vehicles without much human effort. After being harvested, the sugarcane will be transported to the factory in a short time, ensuring that it retains its freshness and highest sugar content, ready to enter the sugar production process. Once the sugarcanes arrive at the factory, they are quickly transferred onto an automatic conveyor belt, which takes them to the next processing areas. Here, the sugarcanes are fed into a modern pressing system, where they are crushed, the sugarcane juice is extracted, and the pulp is created. To crush the sugarcane in large quantities, factories use high-capacity sugarcane presses, which consist of powerful steel rollers to squeeze and separate the sugarcane juice. The sugarcane is fed onto a conveyor belt, then passed through a set of crushing rollers to extract the juice and separate the pulp. The sugarcane juice is then filtered and transferred to the next stages, while the bagasse is used as fuel in the furnace, saving energy for the factory. When it becomes bagasse, it is put into the furnace to be used as fuel. It is used to burn in the boiler, creating heat to serve the stages such as cooking sugar, concentrating sugarcane juice, and creating steam for the machinery system in the factory. After crushing the sugarcane juice will be tested for bricks, clarity, pH, and impurities. If it meets the standards, the sugarcane juice will continue to the cooking and concentration process to produce sugar. To convert sugarcane juice into gelatin, the extracted sugarcane juice is boiled at high temperatures to concentrate it, removing most of the water and impurities. This process thickens the sugarcane juice, turning it into a yellow-brown solution. The mixture is then filtered to remove the remaining impurities, making the gelatin cleaner and purer. Finally, the solution is cooled and thickened, forming gelatin with high viscosity and characteristic color, preparing it for the next processing steps. Once the sugarcane juice has been condensed into sugar syrup, the next step is refining to create unrefined yellow dry sugar cubes. First, the sugar syrup is put through an additional cooking process to remove impurities and increase the consistency of the solution. These sugar cubes are then dried in a low-temperature oven to remove all moisture, turning them into the characteristic yellow dry sugar cubes, still retaining some of the natural essence of the sugarcane. During this process, brown sugar is dissolved and treated with bleaching agents such as lime and activated carbon to remove impurities and color. The sugar solution is then filtered, concentrated, and crystallized, resulting in pure white sugar granules. the product is packaged and distributed to the market, the staff will strictly carry out the final quality control process. After crystallization, the sugar is put into a hot air drying system to remove the remaining moisture, usually below 0.1%, helping the sugar not to clump or mold during storage. The sugar is then cooled and transferred to an automatic packaging machine, which divides the exact quantity into large or small bags, depending on the intended use. The packaging is usually made of craft paper, PE, or moisture-proof plastic bags, sealed and printed with the production date before being put into storage. It was a surprise to learn for the first time that cactus fruit, a familiar plant in arid lands, can be eaten and even used to make many delicious drinks. Hidden behind the thorny shell is a juicy, slightly sweet and cool core. From a wild fruit that seems to only exist in the desert, people have learned how to harvest, process, and turn it into familiar food in life. From simple snacks to refreshing juices and even traditional wine in many places. A rustic gift from nature, seemingly strange but surprisingly familiar. In the middle of the sunny and windy land, the cactus gardens stretch out like a wild but vibrant picture. The space is quiet, only the sound of the wind blowing through each thorny tree trunk that is growing strongly under the sunlight. Cactus is usually grown by cutting branches from the mother plant, leaving them to dry for a few days until the cut shrinks, then planting them in loose soil mixed with sand and compost. Just bury the roots and keep the soil dry without much watering. The plant will still take root and grow, thanks to its good adaptation to dry conditions, creating lush cactus gardens in the sun and wind. When planting cacti, the distance between plants is usually kept from 40 to 60 centimeters to ensure enough space for growth. Rows of plants are about 1 meter apart, making it easy to care for, harvest, and avoid crowded plants that reduce productivity. To help cacti grow well, growers often prune weak, old, or crowded branches. This helps the plant concentrate nutrients on healthy branches, while limiting pests and diseases. Plants that grow unevenly or too close together are also removed, ensuring the garden is airy, absorbs optimal sunlight, and grows evenly. In that seemingly barren landscape, ripe cacti quietly appeared, standing out with bright red, yellow, and orange colors. It was from these dry gardens that people discovered a unique source of food and drink, sweet, refreshing, and surprisingly nutritious. When the cactus fruit turns red, orange, or deep yellow, and the small spines on the skin begin to fall off, it is time to harvest. Harvesters often wear thick gloves or use special tongs to avoid being pricked by the spines. The fruit is gently twisted or cut from the stem, then brought back to be sorted. Harvesting usually takes place in the early morning or cool afternoon to keep the fruit fresh and avoid the harsh sunlight that causes the fruit to wilt quickly. After being cleaned of thorns, the cactus fruits will continue to move on the conveyor belt to the processing area. Here, they are sorted by size and ripeness, then moved to the stage of peeling and separating the fruit flesh. The juicy pulp can be pressed for juice, cooked into jam, or used as an ingredient for fermented drinks. Finally, all products are boxed, stored in a cool warehouse, and ready to be brought to market.